G'day folks, welcome to Paradise Nutrients' first edition of Health, Wealth and Knowledge Education Program. In this edition we're going to be talking about our health of our joints. Our joints are very important of course when they get sore and we've got problems with them. We're also going to be talking about the importance of minerals in our joints. Did you know that 3 out of the top 10 drugs that are marketed on the world today are focused on arthritis and joint stiffness and joint issues? Well, we've got to ask, why do we continue to have these joint problems? Even as young as 30s and 40s, even in our 20s today, we've got a lot of people that go to the doctor with joint issues, joint pain, cartilage issues, etc. Well, we've got to ask ourselves, why have we got so many problems with our joints? Our bones and our joints are all made up of many, many different minerals. Most of the time when we get a sore joint or a pain, we go to the cupboard and we look, or we go to the doctor or we go to the chemist and we go to try and find some drugs that are going to fix the problem.
Dr. Graham here. I've been asked to say a few words with regards to joint health. Now, why is joint health so important? Well, every movable part of your body is a joint. And if something goes wrong there, what do we get? We get pain, we get inflammation, we get disquiet, and life's generally not worth living. So we need to look after our joints. So how do we do that? First of all, we have good food. Now, what is good food? Am I talking about 100% organic? Am I talking about the big M? Am I talking about the pyramid of food? No, I'm not. I'm just talking about the general food that everybody in the world, in Australia, Canada, wherever, eats. Unfortunately, most of us aren't living in the areas where we were genetically programmed to live. Myself, the Mediterranean with a Maltese background. You may come from Asia, maybe Japan, the Philippines or what have you. You may be an Eastern European or what have you. We were designed to grow up on food grown in those particular soils. Myself growing up in Australia, Australia is a very, very old continent, and most of the nutrients, minerals that were meant to be in the soil for a European Mediterranean person just aren't there. So it doesn't matter how organic the food is that I grow, if the goodness, the minerals aren't in the soil, then there is no way those minerals can get into the vegetation, the fruit or the animals that I choose to eat. So what do? I supplement. Now, why would I bother supplementing? I'm eating good food, it looks green, it's very nutritious, the animals are well fed, they look good. But the building blocks of life that we need to support our joints just aren't there. So what minerals are we talking about? Well, everybody knows bones have calcium. Is calcium the most important thing? Well, we also need magnesium there as well. So then we're talking about calcium, magnesium. Well, yes we are, but if we don't have silica, then the calcium, magnesium can't be used in our bodies. There are many other minerals as well that are very, very minor, very small in volume and quantity, but we need them for the major minerals, the macro minerals like calcium, to be used by the body. Now, if the goodness that we need to self-repair, to build, isn't in the soil, we need to take that via supplementation. I choose to use these 74 plus minerals in its various forms. So, okay, I've got what's needed there to have the bone strength that I need, particularly the silica. But then a joint's not just bones rubbing on bones. No, that hurts. That's what rheumatism, arthritis is things rubbing on each other. And of course, with the pain, we get the inflammation. So we need lubricant in there. So what kind of lubricant does the body need? There's a thing called omega-3s. Now you'll hear a lot about the different omegas, omega oils, etc. But let's just say generally omegas. Let's put all those together. So we've got strong bones that aren't frayed, pitted on the ends because they can be built. We're getting the building blocks that we need, and we need the lubrication between the joints that we get with the omega plus other things that we have. Now, I won't go into depth at this stage about the various parts that are in the joint care, the joint support that we have. I'll leave that for another time, but just a moment, just the general overall that we need. I firmly believe we need to deal with the basics. Now I know I've gone through and I've taught all the fancy stuff and taught all the different biological pathways and what have you. But when it really gets down to it, we need good food, we need a good environment, and if we don't have those, we need to supplement. So I choose to supplement with the Paradise Nutrients products for the ones that I need and for the patients that I have that also need those. And I do definitely see results. So how long have I been using minerals? I first started using them in 1986. Now I know some of you weren't born then, but I've been around a fair amount of time. I've got a fair amount of clinical experience behind me, plus what I read and what I see. But I go by what I see myself or what I hear my friends say, the results that they've seen. We can all do a lot of reading, and we know there's a lot of marketing out there about magic drinks and magic stuff, but does it really work? Well, it works for the companies that are selling it, but does it work for the patient? Does it work for you? Does it work for myself? I use things that work. I go back to basics. I have clean water. I take the muck out of the water that the council supplies me, so I've got clean water. I have good food that I can afford to purchase. No, I don't buy 100% organic because there's a little bit of prostitution in the word organic as to what is and what isn't organic. But I eat good food that I can afford. I live the lifestyle, and I supplement for the things that nature isn't able to provide for me here in Australia.
When Paradise Nutrients puts together a product for good bone and joint health, we take in consideration a full banquet of minerals, vitamins, amino acids and fatty acids, and we put them all together in one product. So you can actually take a couple of capsules a day and start looking at the joint health. Now we look at the ingredients that can help build bone health, good healthy bones. It's not like just taking a couple of glasses of milk per day will fix it. Many of the foods that we eat today, they've been force grown with farmers needing to get the crops out of the ground and get it to the supermarket so it looks good. But that doesn't mean that the minerals and trace elements and the vitamins that are in there that we need on a daily basis. That's why Doctor was talking about supplementing, minerals, vitamins, etc. Our bones are under continuous repair all the time. We have old bone cells that die off, should be cast out of the body, and we have new bone cells getting generated all the time. However, if we don't have the right or the correct amount of minerals and abundance of nutrients to replace those new cells, we end up with a thinning of the bones. When you go to the doctor will give you some drugs to go home and kill the pain or to look after the arthritis, etc. But many of these drugs actually block the chemical pathways for creating new bone, and it leaves old. Of course, we need that old bone to be cast out. When you get a build-up of old bone in the body, we end up with old brittle bones, and they break. You go for a walk along the path and trip on something, and of course you break your leg. The minerals we put together here are all focused on building good healthy bones. The extracts from plant compounds, extracts from age-old mineral deposits, things that actually are available to the body. And if they're not available to the body in plant form, then you're going to be taking metallic minerals.